Bava Metziah Daf hey. So the Mishnah and these found items, one is obligated to proclaim his fight. Matzah bears bakli. If one found produce inside a vessel, a kli kamishu, or a vessel by itself, mais bakis, coins inside a pouch, or kis kamishu, or a pouch by itself, tzibedi pedis, tzibedi mais, piles of produce, piles of coins. Shleisha matbeis is al gavzet, 3 coins stacked one on top of the other. Kriyas versus the bundles of grain in a secluded area. Encourage from balabayis, loaves of a homeowner as each shapes as loaves in his own unique manner. Wool fleeces that are taken from the house of a craftsman, as each craftsman processes the wool in his own unique manner. Kadiyayim kadishem, and jugs of wine or jugs of oil. If one finds any of these, he's obligated to proclaim his fight. So the time the Matzah bears the reason one is obligated to proclaim his fight is that he found produce inside the vessel or coins inside a pouch. It's mashma if he found vessels and produce was before it. Keys to lefana mice, or he found the pouch of coins were before it. Those, the produce of coins, belong to him. Where it says, Tanin Allah, we're doing this Mishnah. If one found the keli and produce was before it, belongs to him. Now, if some of the produce is in the keli and some of the produce is on the ground, or some of the coins are inside the pouch and some of them are on the ground, one was obligated to proclaim his fine. But me know, I'm going to ask you a statement from another brayso. If one found an item on which there was no distinguishing mark alongside an item on which there was a distinguishing mark, he's obligated to proclaim that he found both. If the owner of the item with the distinguishable mark came and took his item, but did not claim ownership of the other item, the person who found the items acquires the item on which there is no distinguishable mark. The offers also apply when one finds a keli on which there is a siman, and produce on which there is no siman as well. Our Zvid says, "Lei kasha." It's not a question. Kan b'kuva v'kitona. Price where the finder is obligated to proclaim his finding on both the keli and the produce is referring to a container and a flax. Since the flax fibers are intertwined, when part of the flax falls out of the container, all the flax will fall out. Therefore, the fact that the flax is completely outside the container is not an indication that it was never in the container. The Mishnah, for which it is inferred that the produce found outside the keli belongs to the finder, referring to a basket and produce. Had the produce fallen out of the basket, presumably some produce would remain in the basket, as the individual unit of produce are not connected. Therefore, the fact that no produce was found in the basket indicates the produce did not fall out of the basket. Papa says, Peda. Well, this ruling, the ruling that was referring to a basket and produce. The kasha is not a question. Rice where the finder is obligated to proclaim his finding of the produce found outside the vessel is referring to a case where some produce remains in the basket. The Rishta from which is mashma the produce found outside the keli belonging to the finder is referring to a case where no produce remains in the basket. I can tell you, talking about a case where no produce remains in the basket. Like kasha is not a question. The brayso where the finder is obligated to proclaim his finding of the produce outside the empty keli is referring to a case where the mouth of the basket is facing the produce, indicating the produce fell from there. The Mishnah, which is mashma the produce found outside the keli, belongs to the person who found it. It's referring to a case where the mouth of the basket is not facing the produce. For you, by same, I can tell you another answer. Both this ruling and the ruling that are referring to a case where the mouth of the basket is facing the produce. Like kasha, nevertheless, it's not a question. The Mishnah, where it's mashma the produce found outside the keli, belong to the finder, is referring to a case where the empty basket has a rim. Had the produce fallen out of the basket, the rim would have prevented some of the produce from falling. The Leslie Ugnim Litzana, where the brisa where the finder is obligated to proclaim the produce found outside the keli, empty keli is referring to where the basket has no rim, and therefore the produce is entirely could have fallen from the basket. Tziberi Peis Tziberi Meis. It says, and for those found items, one is obligated to proclaim his find. Piles of produce and piles of coins. Shabbos Minah, minion have a simon. Learn from here that a distinguishable mark, and one reclaims his produce or coins by correctly declaring the number of piles, where it says to need to pairs. Perhaps you should read a pile of produce. It's not the number of piles, but the location that serves as a determining mark. Shabbos Minah have a simon. You'll learn from here that the location is a distinguishable mark. Tani. So where it says no, perhaps one could say to pairs, piles of produce. 3 coins stacked from one another. Or Yitzchak Magdaloi, who shasun kimigdalan, and what is obligated to proclaim the find in the case where the coins are arranged in the well-ordered towers. If one found scattered coins, our either shalei belongs to him. If the coins are arranged in a well-ordered tower, he's obligated to proclaim his find. And these coins are arranged in towers. 3 coins stacked one on top of the other. It says, this price itself is difficult. It says if he found scattered coins, these belong to him, which is for which we can learn that if the coins partially overlap, he's obligated to proclaim his find. Look at the sefer. If the coins are arranged in the well-ordered towers, he is obligated to proclaim the find. Which is mashma if coins are partially overlapped, these coins belong to him. So our answer is Tana Kol and Asin Kimigdal. The time of the Brisa calls any pile of coins that's not arranged well in Fuzar is Karli. He calls it scattered. Aral Chanina says, the Chacham taught that one must proclaim his find only when he finds coins minted by 3 different kings. But if the coins are minted by one king, he's not obligated to proclaim his find. What are the circumstances? He does see if the coins are arranged in the well-ordered towers, that even if the coins were minted by one king, the finder should also be obligated to proclaim his find. And if the coins are not arranged in the well-ordered towers, that even if the coins were minted by 3 kings, the finder should not be obligated to proclaim his find. Rather, if he stayed as a that one must proclaim his find only when one finds the coins of different size minted by one coin, which are similar to the coins minted by 3 kings. But if they're minted by one king, he's not obligated to proclaim his find. What are circumstances of coins that are arranged in the well-ordered towers by which one must proclaim? It's when the bottom coin is broadest and the intermediate coin is at top and the smallest on top of the intermediate one. We say, they're placed there and are not lost at all. But one king, by one finds kings minted by one king, each of them size like the other. Even if each is placed upon the other, coins belong to the finder. The reason that it's possible to say is because it's possible to say that it happens and they fell together and the arrangement is not a simon. Even if the coins were minted by one king, one is obligated to proclaim his find. My machris, what does he proclaim? Minyan, the number. My area tlasa, so why 3? I feel 3, I'm even 2. Ravina tiva machris. Since the finder proclaims that he found coins. Kshir mao. If one found coins like a round bracelet, what's the halacha? Kshuda, or if it's like a straight line, katsug. The chatzuba, what if it's like a triangle? Wow, kasum, like a ladder. What's the halacha? Shreit ma'achada, that would have at least learn one, that he said, Amar Ravo, kol she'ilam achnes, esam, benim, neitum vasadas chayav la'achnes. Any arrangements of coin such that if one were to introduce a wood chip between the coins, he can thereby lift them at once with a wood chip. He's obligated to proclaim his find. But Ravashi has to shaila, ka'abni base kulis ma'u, if they are configured like the stones of the house. What's the halacha? Tashvan tanya matzo mois mufuzaris. If one found scattered coins, Haril Shalai belongs to him. Ka'abni base kulis, if they were like the stones of the house, a worship dedicated to Mercury, he's obligated to proclaim his fine. And these are the coins that were configured like the stones of the house. One was situated here on one side, and one was situated on the long side, and one was situated on top of the two of them. If one finds a cell in the marketplace, and another finds him and says, Shalihi, it's mine. Chadashihi. And what's the siman that it's new? Irenisi, or it's a coin minted by the Emperor Nero. Shemalaplenisi, or that is minted by King so-and-so. The Amaklub didn't say anything. The finder did not give him the seller. But moreover, even if its name is written on the seller, the Amaklub didn't say anything. Due to the fact that there's no distinguishable mark for a coin that is effective in its recovery. Perhaps he spent the coin and fell from another other person. Next Mishnah. One found behind a wooden fence or behind a stone fence bound fledglings. Or he found them in the paths that run through fields. He may not touch them, as they were certainly placed there intentionally. Case where you found a vessel in a garbage dump, if it's concealed, you may not touch it. If it's exposed, fire takes them and proclaims his fine. What's the reason that one may not touch the fledglings? The reason is Hani inish afsino. With regards to these birds, a person can seal them. And if one takes them, their owner has no distinguishable mark on them to enable them to reclaim them. Therefore, to find and leave the birds in place until their owner comes and takes them. But why? Let them not binding them serve as a distinguishable mark. It's a case where the birds were bound at their wings. Since everyone binds them in that manner, they're not binding the birds, is not a simon. Let the place be a simon. The birds hop and do not remain in one place. Even if it's a case where the birds hop, perhaps the birds came and with allocation elsewhere, it's permitted for the keeper to find them. My answer is some say it came elsewhere. Some people say that a person concealed them. And there's a suffix with regards to whether the placement of the bird was deliberate. Any case of suffix as to whether the placement of the item was deliberate, you may not take it. It's not to return it. Mishnah says, if one found a vessel in a garbage dump, if it's concealed, you shouldn't touch it. If one found a vessel concealed in a garbage dump, the father takes them and proclaims this fine. Because it's a routine of a garbage dump to be cleared. Therefore, presumably it was not placed there, rather it was a lost item, and one is obligated to proclaim this fine. Or as it says, like kasha, it's not a question. The Bryce is referring to knives or a fork. In the case, in containers of cup. And the Bryce is referring to knives or forks. In the case of containers and cups, which is large, you may not touch them. In the case of knives and forks, finally takes them and proclaims his fine. The Papa says, Well, this price and the mission is referring to containers of cups. Well, Kash is not a question. The price is referring to a garbage dump that is distinguished to be cleared. And Kan Bashpashin is the mission is referring to a garbage dump that is not designated to be cleared. Ashbas to the Parasavimidasi. A garbage dump that is designated to be cleared is a deliberate loss, and the owner is mafkir ownership of the vessel. Rather, the price is referred to a garbage dump that's not designated to be cleared, and the owner of the land reconsidered it and decided to clear it. What does it mean, Shkin derech ashpa lepanis? Shkin derech ashpa lepanis, it means it's routine for a garbage dump to inadvertently have small utensils cleared, discarded into it.